This business will chew a man up quicker than dry tobacco on a cold morning. Most folks you see on that TV screen, they don't last long. Flash of pyro, 3 months of new merch, and then they disappear like dust in a windstorm. But every once in a long while, you run into a different breed. A man who just keeps on riding, no matter what era comes round. And I tell you right now, Billy Gunn is one of those men. For 3 decades, he survived every storm. Good times, lean times, boom periods, bust periods, new bosses, old bosses, locker room politics thicker than Texas mud. And still, that big son of a gun found a way to stand tall. I saw it. Hell, I was there for a lot of it. Even if nobody remembers old me. Big locker rooms, small locker rooms, barns, arenas, TV trucks. Billy'd walk in and everybody noticed. So today, on Board Wrestling Fans, we're taking one hell of a deep dive. Not just into the gimmicks or the characters, but into the man, the cowboy, the outlaw, the ass man, the trainer, the father, and the survivor. This here is Smoking Gun, the Billy Gunn story. Monty from Orlando, raised in Texas. Long before the pyro, the cowboy hats, and the bright tights, Billy Gunn was just a kid named Monty Kip Sop. Born November 1st, 1963, down in Orlando, Florida. But he didn't stay in the Sunshine State long. His folks hauled him out to Austin, Texas, when he was still smaller than a pair of Spurs. And Texas will stick to a man. Gives him a little swagger, a little toughness, a little don't you dare test me. Monty grew up strong, smart enough in school, and he even made his way to Sam Houston State University. But books weren't the only thing he carried. He had something else in his lungs too. Asthma. You wouldn't know it looking at the fella today, but back then he had to fight for every breath. And trust me, cowboy, fighting for breath makes you fight for everything. But see, Monty wasn't just some school kid. He had legs as long as a bad weekend and athletic ability to match. Football, track, whatever you threw at him, he took to it. You could tell early on he was built for something physical, something loud, something dangerous. Which brings us to the rodeo. 8 seconds at a time. Now, you spend enough years in Texas, you either gonna ride a horse, ride a bull, or ride your luck. Money chose the first two, and by the early 80s, he was sitting on top of some of the angriest bulls in the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. I knew a few of the PRCA boys. Rough, quiet, all bone and resolve. They respected Money. Said he had guts, balance, and a real good way of landing on his feet when 400 pounds of fury tried to toss him to the moon. But rodeo, it breaks a man early. And Money, he wanted something bigger. Something he dreamed of since he was knee-high. Professional wrestling. Back then, The territory still had grit. Smoking halls, wooden chairs, old grandmas swinging purses at the hills. And money sat in those crowds as a kid, eyes wide, lungs tight, thinking, one day, that's gonna be me. So in 1985, he finally made the jump. Paying dues, the 8-year road. You don't just walk into wrestling and get handed a spotlight. No, sir. You earn it on the indies. You bleed for it. You freeze for it. You drive for it. Monty trained under Jerry Gray, a tough Texan who didn't sugarcoat anything. Gray had one rule. If you want to make it, you show up every single damn day. Hurt, tired, broke, don't matter. And Monty did. From 85 to 93, he traveled to small shows, county fairs, high school gyms, Elks lodges. Hell, one time I saw him wrestle in a livestock pavilion that smelled like a cow had just given up on life. Didn't faze him. He worked his tail off. During those years, he also married his sweetheart, Tina Tennell, and the two brought 2 kids into the world, Austin and Colton. He had mouths to feed now, and that'll put a fire under any man. By the early 90s, he'd gotten good, real good, strong, fast, athletic. Back then, I'd run into him at a few shows. Always polite, always driven, always soaked in sweat like he'd worked twice as hard as everyone else. And eventually, the big boys took notice. Enter the Smoking Gunns. 1993 to 1996. In 93, after a couple enhancement matches for WCW, Monty caught the eye of Vince McMahon, and WWE signed him quick, real quick. They needed fresh blood, and Monty had that big TV-ready look. They renamed him Billy Gunn, and they put him in a cowboy tag team with Bart Gunn. The Smoking Gunns were born. Cowboy hats, revolver twirls, big old grins, tassels everywhere. Look, it wasn't subtle, but fans took to them. They looked the part, acted the part, and hell, coming from Texas and the rodeo, Billy lived the damn part. Their early run was strong. They beat jobber teams like they owed them money. Won fans over with that big babyface charm, and before long, they were tearing through the division. 3-time WWF Tag Team Champions. Not too shabby for a couple of brother cowboys. But remember, 95 and 96 were rough years for WWE. Business down, fans drifting away, locker room full of tension, not much room to rise. Even with success, the Gunns hit a ceiling. And then, things took a turn. The Stun Gun Sunset, 1996. In late 96, the Smoking Gunns came apart. Billy and Bart dropped the belts, the crowds cooled off, and WWE split them up. Billy tried going solo, wearing a long coat and a black cowboy hat. Looked like he stepped out of a Clint Eastwood fever dream. They booked Billy versus Bart in December 96 on Raw. And that's when things went sideways. Stun gun spot. Billy hits the mat. Doesn't move. Match stops. Ref waves it off. Bart looks shaken. Billy's family rushes the ring. Fans thought Billy was seriously hurt. Truth, Billy was injured, just not from that stun gun. His neck been bothering him for a while. The injury angle was just a way to write him off TV. Still, that little moment ended Raw with a whole lot of drama. And I remember standing backstage, arms crossed, thinking, well, hell, what's next for Billy? Turns out, WWE didn't have a plan. Rockabilly Blues, 1997. Now, if you ask me, and I was there, Billy Gunn ain't the shake, rattle, and roll type. But WWE had the honky-tonk man strutting around talking about his new protege. Originally supposed to be WCW's Disco Inferno, but Disco stayed put. WWE needed a replacement. They chose Billy. Thus, Rockabilly was born. Billy comes out dancing, hips shaking, pompadour smiling, and the arena goes dead silent. Not booing, not cheering, just silence. Like everyone was trying to process what the hell they were looking at. I stood behind the curtain that night. Even we didn't clap. That's how you know you're in trouble. Rockabilly feuded with Jesse James, who was stuck with a bad gimmick of his own. And somewhere in all that mess, those two realized something. They had chemistry. Real chemistry. The kind you can't teach. And so, Rockabilly died quietly in a ditch out back. And the New Age Outlaws were born. The New Age Outlaws, 1997 to 1999. When Billy Gunn became Badass Billy Gunn and Jesse James became Road Dogg Jesse James, something special clicked. They weren't polished, they weren't traditional, they weren't even particularly respectful, but damn it, they were over, fast. Those two hit TV like a tornado of attitude, insults, catchphrases, and pure charisma. They embarrassed the Legion of Doom, tormented Foley and Funk. Hell, I remember the night they shoved Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie into a dumpster and rolled them right off the stage. Foley took the bump so hard, even the boys backstage winced. But those moments made the Outlaws. They were loud, cocky, obnoxious, and fans loved every second. By early '98, they were circling around a bigger pack of wolves. DX marks the spot. D-Generation X was the hottest thing going. Triple H, Chyna, X-Pac. The group was tearing down the old walls of wrestling and having fun doing it. And the Outlaws, they slid right in like they been there since day one. Suddenly, Billy wasn't just a tag guy, he was a star, a big one. DX did two things for Billy. It put him on TV constantly. It showed the world that he could go in the ring. And let me tell you, behind the scenes, Billy was one of the strongest, fastest, most athletic men in that locker room. The dude looked like a superhero someone forgot to color in. Fans started chanting his new nickname, Mr. Ass. And yeah, he leaned into it. But success like that, it always comes with a price. Long Rider, going solo, 1999. By 99, WWE saw what Billy could do. They saw his build, his athleticism, his look, and they thought, maybe it's time for this cowboy to ride alone. So they slowly pulled him away from Road Dogg. Billy won the Hardcore Championship at WrestleMania 15. He played around the mid-card, and eventually, he turned heel. Left DX, jumped in with Triple H in China, picked up a new attitude, a new swagger, and then he entered the 1999 King of the Ring tournament. Now listen, I was standing in the back after he won that thing. Triple H slapped him on the back. Road Dogg raised an eyebrow, and folks whispered like Billy was about to be the next main guy. He beat Shamrock, beat Kane, beat X-Pac, and stood tall as King Billy Gunn. A huge honor, a huge opportunity. And then came SummerSlam. Rock bottom. When Billy Gunn stepped up to face The Rock at SummerSlam 1999, the company thought it was a star-making match. But The Rock, he wasn't exactly thrilled about it. Backstage, he was already a megastar. Movie offers, magazine covers, the whole deal. Billy was good, really good. But trying to jump from tag specialist to main event heel, right into The Rock's orbit, that's like riding straight into a tornado. And sure enough, The Rock crushed him on the mic, week after week. I remember Road Dogg muttering, "Man, they're feeding Billy to a lion." And then came that infamous line, "It doesn't matter what your name is." You could feel the wind come out of Billy's sails. SummerSlam came. Match was fine. Crowd didn't buy Billy as a main eventer. The Rock won clean as a whistle. And just like that, Billy's singles push died on the vine. Back to the Outlaws, 1999 to 2000. After the SummerSlam loss, WWE cooled on Billy faster than a bucket of well water. They figured maybe he just wasn't meant to ride solo, so they put the Outlaws back together. And in fairness, Billy and Road Dogg were magic together. They won the tag titles again. They reunited with DX. They rode that wave pretty good. But one night at No Way Out 2000, Billy got hurt, tore his rotator cuff. And just like that, 10 months, gone. In wrestling, that's a lifetime. The one, but not the one. 2000 to 2001. When Billy came back in late 2000, WWE had a new plan. Right, the censor banned him from using the name Mr. Ass, so he went through Billy G for a minute before landing on the one, Billy Gunn. New music, new look, new attitude, and he won the Intercontinental Championship for 2 weeks. Then he lost it at Armageddon. Never got the momentum back. He wasn't even booked for WrestleMania 17, which tells you everything. Billy kept working, kept fighting, but it just wasn't clicking. WWE's roster was packed. Austin, Rock, Triple H, Kurt Angle, Jericho, Benoit. Too many top guys and not enough air. So WWE paired Billy up with a new tag partner, Chuck Palumbo. Billy and Chuck, 2001 to 2002. Billy and Chuck started as just another thrown together team. But then WWE had an idea. What if they leaned into a close partnership gimmick? And hey, for the time, it was bold, controversial. Some folks backstage didn't know what to make of it. But Billy and Chuck, they committed fully. Matching gear, matching hair, posed together, acted inseparable. And you know what? It worked. They got heat. They got attention. They won the tag team championships twice. Then came the wedding segment, one of the most watched moments of the era. They revealed the whole thing was just a publicity stunt, pissed off half the locker room, and then the gimmick faded. Billy, beat up again, took time off, and soon WWE cut him loose. Back roads and dead ends, 2003 to 2004. Billy came back in 2003 as Mr. Ass with Tori Wilson, but things never picked up. Injuries mounted, storylines fizzled. He was on Velocity more than Raw. I ran into him around that time once. Man still looked like a Greek statue carved out of steak, but his spark was dimmer. He knew he wasn't in WWE's plans. Later in 2004, WWE released him. And honestly, it stung. For him, for the boys, for me. But Billy ain't the type to stay down for long. The TNA ride, 2005 to 2009. Billy headed to TNA, calling himself the New Age Outlaw. WWE didn't like that one bit, so he switched to Kip James. He reunited with BG James, Road Dogg, joined the 3 Live crew, split from him, reunited again, became the James Gang, then Voodoo Ken Mafia, a not so subtle shot at Vince McMahon. It was funny, chaotic, petty, and kinda brilliant. But eventually the momentum slowed. Billy drifted into a role with the beautiful people as Cute Kip, then drifted off TV entirely. By 2009, he and TNA parted ways. Trainer, veteran, father, 2009 to 2019. Billy hit the indies again, wrestled in Japan, coached younger talent, and in 2012, WWE brought him back as a trainer at NXT. He excelled. Billy had always been a teacher, calm, patient, tough. The Outlaws got one more run in 2013 to 14, winning tag gold again. Not bad for a couple old dogs. But in 2015, Billy failed a drug test for a powerlifting competition. not even wrestling related. And WWE let him go again. Didn't stop him. He still wrestled, still trained kids, still showed up at the DX Hall of Fame induction in 2019, smiling ear to ear. But by then, a new company was rising, and Billy Gunn rolled on in. Daddy Ass in the Gun Club, 2019 to present. In 2019, Billy Gunn signed with AEW as both talent and coach, and he didn't come alone. His boys, Austin and Colton Gunn, were starting their own careers. Billy trained them, guided them, walked them to the ring, and not long after, he found himself back in front of red-hot crowds with the Acclaimed, reinventing himself yet again. Daddy Ass chants, massive crowds, a whole new generation discovering him. 30 damn years later, still jacked, still agile, still funny as hell, still Billy Gunn. I couldn't help but smile. Hell, a lot of the boys did too. Legacy of a real badass. Now I've seen a lot of men come and go in this business. Seen them rise fast, fall faster. Seen bodies break, careers wilt, dreams crumble. But Billy Gunn, he weathered all the storms. He may not have become the next Rock or Austin, and that's fine, because not every legend stands alone in the main event. Some build whole kingdoms in tag team wrestling. Some reinvent themselves again and again. Some turn setbacks into new beginnings. Some father the next generation. Literally. Billy Gunn's legacy ain't just the championships, ain't just the gimmicks, ain't just the catchphrases. It's the longevity, the resilience, the reinvention, the impact on kids he trained and sons he raised. He's a survivor, a workhorse, and a damn good man. And if you're asking me, Billy Gunn didn't just last in the business, he made it better. And if you ain't down with that, well, partner, you know the rest. This has been Board Wrestling Fans. Thanks for riding with me today. Take care out there and keep your boots laced tight. You never know when the next ride begins.